What's it there? Production. Okay. Yeah. Hello. So today, yesterday I was preparing some of your notes, and in doing so, sometimes we have to refer to various sources as well. And even in this, there are so many errors, so we have to go through all those things. Now, so today, before we start our class, few reminders again. Officially, our social issue class starts today. But like I've said, we have to go through some of the other schemes and at the same time deal with social issue schemes as well. Then we'll start with uh, social issue completely. Now, um, see, I want to give you a quote. It is like a philosophical question, but it relates to our society. Kindly ponder on this and do some brainstorming whenever you are free. The statement is the individual a product of society or its creator? Kindly ponder upon this. What it says is, are you just a product of society? You live in a society and society has created you. Society has molded you. Society has taught you how to live within various social institutions, right? And how various institutions have shaped you. For example, institution of family, institution of schools, colleges, institutions in your professional spaces, etc. Church, temples, etc. So, how has those things molded you, and are you just a product, or are we even creators of our own society? Okay, kindly ponder upon this. It's a very interesting question. Now, coming to our topic, it is Mahir Mission on Advanced and High Impact Research. This comes under Ministry of Power because now, even in state of Nagaland, we always have issues regarding power shortages. So in anything relating to power, we can always implement this as well. Because here we are focusing on indigenous research in our power sector, which means RD, okay, R&D, sorry, and developing, demonstrating of any latest and emerging technologies in our power sector. And at the same time, not just indigenous research, but also leveraging with foreign alliances, adopting best technologies and practices from other countries as well. Okay, those are the focus of Mahir. Today, we'll not go much in details of schemes, okay, particularly other schemes. In social issue schemes, we'll deal with it a little more. Others will just go through it. So, here, this is the main idea behind it, okay? emerging technologies in power sector. And what are the primary focus? You keep hearing about green hydrogen. You keep hearing about EV, right? Electric vehicles battery. Now in this, using nanotechnology. Then how do we ensure even carbon capture? So in the overall power cycle, there is less wastage, right? These are the main targets in this Mahir under Ministry of Power. Now next is Bharatmala Pari Yojana program. Now Bharatmala is a little more important. Yesterday we have discussed about Sagarmala. Sagarmala is regarding uh, coastal coastal areas, right? Particularly port development. And in that, how do we leverage our blue economy? We have also related that to blue revolution as well. Now, Bharatmala is also almost the same thing, but we are focusing more on road network. So it comes under Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. In the past, you must have heard about this. In the past, there was NHDP. Now, kindly know that Bharatmala, Sagarmala that we have discussed, those issues can also, these programs can also be related to social issues because it do away with, uh, in Sagarmala, you can talk about fishing communities and coastal communities being benefited. In Bharatmala, you can talk about unreached area, right? Areas whereby there were less connectivity, areas that were neglected will also be connected, not through Bharatmala roads. Kindly keep this in mind. Try to relate these things. Earlier, there was NHDP, National Highway Development Program. So with this, they set up what is called Golden Quadrilateral. You must have heard about it. You must have heard about north, south, east, west corridors. With this, they were successfully, around more than 13,000 kilometer roads were constructed, 4 lane, 6 lane, successful. Okay, there were some issues, but still overall successful. So with that, now we have come to Bharatmala. This is a successor, and here we're focusing both on, it's written here, freight movement and passenger movement, both of it as well. So we are going to develop economic corridors. We're even going to develop feeder routes. We're going to have connection in all border areas, coastal area, and ensuring international connectivity as well. So overall, we're trying to ensure that there is logistic efficiency as well as we bridge the connectivity gaps for our people. This is the main idea for Bharatmala. I hope we shouldn't be confused about it. Now, skill in their program. This is also important when it comes to skilling of the society, demographic dividend being made used. Okay, and here we're focusing on obviously skilling, but we'll skill them, we'll reskill them if required, then we'll even upskill the existing employee who need to update their skill with changing times. Yeah, so this is the main focus of skill in their program. And the workforce that we have, the demographic dividend that we have, people, especially people, whether now, so in skill in their program, we have various initiatives, but primarily we are also trying to focus on people who were not able to get a proper training access, proper education. So they are trained well and they are industry ready. Okay, these are some of the one of the main point even within skill India program. You must have heard about PMKVY, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So this is exactly what it does, what I was explaining earlier. It provides short duration training and even provides certification for the training. Now, this is mostly for people who have not attained much proper education or a high education or a technical education. Thereby, with this short initiative, even school dropouts, high school dropouts, no? And college dropouts will also be benefited from such scaling program. Within this skill in their program, we also have national apprenticeship promotion scheme, where at least individuals will get exposed for a short duration of time to learn particular skill by working under the apprenticeship of certain individual, skilled individual. Okay, it comes under this provision is under 1961 Act. So skill in their program, it's useful in every ways. Kindly keep this in mind. MP Lets is also good. You can make use of it, particularly if anything is to do with durable assets, and if it is to do with bridging regional imbalance. Now in Nagaland, we have two MPs, right? One in the Lok Sabha and the other in Rajya Sabha. Now, recently we have seen in the news our Lok Sabha MP, Honorable Supomaran, he has contributed ambulances to various districts, right? Now, at least that is positive thing we have seen after a long duration, okay? Now, MPLETS, the full form is Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. It is a central sector scheme fully sponsored by the central government, and it is under MOSPI. Now, what it does is it enables the MP to address issue of unequal development within the constituency. And so what MP would do, they will recommend developmental works in their constituency. So in doing so, it will be the concerned DC or DM who will be in charge of implementation. So for example, in Nagaland, in Lok Sabha, within Nagaland, there is only one MP, right, all over Nagaland. And so in any of the districts that we have, the MP can say, in this district, I want to do something. I want to create a durable asset in this particular district. So he will inform the DM. The DM will do all the necessary work. There are certain conditionalities here. When you recommend work, at least the work should not be less than 2.5 lakhs. Okay, it should be more than 2.5 lakhs. This is the minimum criteria that has been placed. Other areas whereby we are, for example, ST majority, so this condition may not apply. But elsewhere, 15% should be allocated for SC, then 7.5% for ST. Those criteria are also placed. And in this fund, an MP will get 5 crore, okay, not a small amount. Kindly remind you, 5 crore per MP per year, and the duration is 5 years. So multiply 5 into 5, which will be 25 crore in their duration to implement within their constituency. Now, let's say the MP, for whatever reason, wants to even create some durable asset in another constituency, any part of the country apart from his own constituency. He or she can do that, but the limit is placed at 25 lakhs per year. Maybe there is some natural calamity, taking an example of Kerala. Let's say there was a flood in Kerala, and our MP Superman, he said, he said, okay, I feel the need to help the people in Kerala. So for natural calamities, he can allocate up to 1 crore per year. Okay, that is the upper limit. Exception is given for natural calamities, or else it is just 25 lakhs. So these are some of the facts to remember. If you can implement it in your answer in any way, kindly do so. Now, one good thing about MP-LETS is it is non-lapsable, which means the fund, if not utilized this year, you can still utilize it next year. Okay, it doesn't lapse. Now, moving on, PM Mitra. This is also good. It deals with textile. May not be very relevant for us, but uh, we can still work in our textile sector even in Nagaland, okay? And hopefully it improves the existing situation. PM Mitra, Pradhan Mantri Mega Park Integrated Textile Region and Apparel Park. It is under Ministry of Textile. The idea behind it is to create a world-class textile infrastructure. Keeping in mind, in textile industry, please remember we have what is called 5F vision, okay? Which means from the farm, we'll convert it to a fiber, we'll take the fiber to factory, we'll create our product, and we'll export the product. Okay, farm, fiber, factory, fashion, foreign. Kindly remember 5F vision in our textile industry. The target is to create at least 7 mega textile park, whether greenfield or brownfield. And per park, the cap is 500 crore in their development capital support. 500 crore per park. This is the upper limit that is placed. Okay. So textile industry may not be of much use from our examination point of view, but kindly make use of it wherever possible. You can always learn to integrate even areas where it may not be very necessary. Now, okay, PM Gati Shakti. This is also important. You can relate it to many parts of our answers. National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity. Please remember the word multimodal, which means we are not focusing just on one particular connectivity, but varied connectivity. So, what are the 7 focus area in this? 7 focus area is railway, road, port, waterways, airport. Okay, so we are focusing on multimodal connectivity, not just on one. It is implemented by Ministry of Commerce and Industry because of it. Okay, and now the target of this is, please remember, Gati Shakti is like the overall umbrella scheme whereby various sub schemes will exist, or existing sub schemes will also be brought under it. Okay, now the target is to create 2 lakh kilometer national highway. Even our gas pipeline network, we are trying to enhance it, doubling it actually. And let's say even our power lines. Okay, so it is multimodal. Power lines, we're trying to increase it. Within this, we also have plans to develop industrial corridors and even defense corridors. Okay, so 11 industrial corridors and 2 defense corridor. Let us not go too much into detail, but just remember that this is multimodal connectivity scheme. So please remember Gati Shakti for any connectivity related questions. Now, cities, okay, not cities normal spelling, CITIIS, okay, cities. city investment to innovate, integrate, and sustain. Kindly remember this. This is important for urban urban areas, urban issues within social issue area. Urban spaces are also facing a lot of resource crunch, and we are also facing issues of population density. We're facing issues of resource stress and over exploitation of resources. At the same time, we are also facing issues of proper planning, lack of proper planning in many areas. Slum dwelling may also increase. Cluster over compact dwelling may also, high density dwelling spaces without following our building codes may also come to existence. So, various issues are there within urban life. And we know that on paper, rural area has high population, but in actual practice, urban area may have more population, not more than rural as whole, but more than what is mentioned on paper. For example, let's take a practical example. You as an individual, you may have registered your residence in your particular village. Your permanent residence may be in your village. Okay. Even your current address may also be in your village for some of you. But where are you? You may be living in towns and cities. Okay. So with this, we have seen a shift. Rural to urban migration is the reality of the day. We are dealing with social issue also. Okay, when we're discussing this, kindly remember. So, rural to urban migration or urban migration is taking place. So, in this, we have to address all these issues, and cities are one of those schemes. Now, actually, cities is also a subcomponent of smart city mission. We'll talk about smart city mission as well. So in cities, please remember it is subcomponent of smart city mission. It is dealt by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Now in cities 2.0, we are trying to have various levels of action, whether it is at the city level action, state level action, national level action. Okay, the hierarchy would be there. But overall, what is the objective or what is the idea or purpose of this scheme? We are trying to ensure that there is circular economy. This is the main target of cities. Okay, so this is a subcomponent of smart city mission which focuses on circular economy and climate resilient economy. Circular economy they will be focusing a lot on, excuse me, integrated waste management. In cities, a lot of waste are generated, and how do we manage it, right? This is the idea behind circular economy, and cities will be addressing it. Kindly remember, no doubt, we have to improve the capacity building, we have to undergo partnership, we have to innovate and come up with various technologies to deal with our circular economy issue. So those things will be there, but get the gist of get the gist of it. That's more than enough. Now, coming to smart city mission. This is the main scheme. Smart city mission, it is a mission to promote sustainable and citizen-friendly urban development through smart solution. Even in Nagaland, Kohima is chosen as smart city, right? You all know about this. And under this smart city mission, we're actually getting a funding of 100 crore per year, okay, per year, per city. Now, if your city is not selected as part of smart city mission, you will not be allocated this fund. But so long as you're getting, you are part of the smart city mission, you have been allocated 100 crore per year per city for 5 years. Now, so Kohima have received 500 crore in that sense, nah? just looking on paper extensions, and there may be a payment delay because of lack of work, lack of report, or inefficiency. Those things center are very careful these days, okay, of fund release. If you don't do work, fund will be paused, or fund will be at least delayed. So the state government has to work a lot. Now, on paper, 500 crore. Now, so when you go around Kohima in the name of smart city, are you seeing 500 crore worth of asset being created? This is one question. I don't know. Okay, I'm a blind person. I don't know, but you guys can see it. So kindly think about it, and you can use this in your mains as well. Okay. Now, overall, the fund allocation was 48,000 crore. Okay, and Kohima is also selected as one of those cities. So here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create an area-based development. We are going to ensure that there is PPP model wherever possible. And even after implementation of the scheme, for example, we want to have a proper walking space, cycling spaces. We want to have proper management of traffic within the city. So creation of such spaces, etc., would be taken up in this particular scheme. Even for surveillance, better surveillance also, funds can be allocated. So we have ICC which is Integrated Control and Command Center. So this will be the command center, and online services, for example, in traffic management, health, water, etc., would be provided here, and also it will ensure better surveillance and prevent crime as well, no? In the city, reduction of the crime, particularly reduction of crime against women as well, no? So kindly remember the target was 100 cities, okay, to make 100 cities within the country a smart city. Coming to DAY NULM, which is Din Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission. So this is a centrally sponsored scheme under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. There's also for rural rural livelihood mission again, which is under RD. Now coming to the NULM, it is to reduce urban poverty. Sorry, and how do we do so? By ensuring that at least there is self-employment and there is skill wage employment. The focus is on creation of self-help group, whereby a group of people would come together, create a group, and work together. Maybe even come up with certain skill set and products and selling them. Maybe using this particular SSG as well for other activities, for other economic activities as well. No? SSGs are very important, okay, particularly when it comes to poor and deprived people. Now, in SSG, generally around 10 to 20 members to form the SSG. In urban area, since this is part of NULM, at least out of this 70% should be urban poor. This is the target. Now, in tribal areas like ours, whether it's rural or urban, exceptions are given. We can be less than 10 members also because of lesser population, right? If they are disabled people, then it can even go down to around 5 members. You don't have to remember all these things, but what it does, what is the role of NULM? So they will provide financial support for self-employment. Okay, so how do they do so? Let's say there is group-led micro enterprises that will be set up by SSGs. Minimum there should be 2 members in this, and for per member they'll give 2 lakhs, okay, as a support, financial support, and it can go up to maximum of 10 lakhs, not not more than that, whichever is lesser. If you have 20 members also, you're not going to get 40 lakhs, okay? You're just going to be capped at upper limit of 10 lakhs. Now, if let's say you are an individual and you want to start your micro enterprises, and provided you are urban poor, okay, then your project should be kept with an upper ceiling of 2 lakhs, okay, since you're one person. So this is the idea how self-employment can be generated through NULM. Because many of you during your answer writing, I keep seeing you have implemented, okay, with the use of NLLM, providing क्या है, skilling, you know, getting providing them with livelihood. Those things are also good, but then sometimes if you know the main idea of it, you can say NULM focusing on urban poor to ensure and strengthen them with uh, credit support, skilling to set up micro enterprises. Nah? Then, when your examiner reads your paper, it becomes more impressive. So, kindly understand the scheme, and you will have more to write about it as well. Coming to PM Swanit or Pradhan Mantri Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi. This is important because maybe in even in Nagaland now, the numbers of street vendors are also increasing. Earlier, street vending was seen as a kind of a very unrespected unrespected career choice within our society. In one way, they were also not much appreciated for their contribution in the society. They were just seen as somebody on the street trying to make money, right? But street vendors actually play a very important role in our economy as well. So we should try to formalize them. They're mostly informal sector. So we should try to bring them within the formal sector, provide more capital, inject more capital funding, then the hygiene condition will also rise, no? And also the quality of food quality that we get will also be enhanced. So today, whenever you go to street also, you you find even Naga youths carrying out street vending. Okay, this is also one of the progressive thing we can see in our society. And in social issues, when it comes to unemployment issue, you can always relate them with street vendor and PM Swanit scheme. Okay, now in this scheme, we are trying to provide them. It is under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. See, actually, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is also becoming very important in Nagaland. Earlier, rural development, the department I mean, were the only one. Now, this is also coming up. Ministry of Industry and Commerce is also coming up. Because now, youth that are coming up has aspirations in the city. We still have individual youths. We have handful of youths who have aspirations in villages. Let's say you want to start up a piggery farm, you want to start up a goatry, a goat farm, or you want to carry out plantations, all these things. You still have aspirations there. Maybe you want to do food processing in your villages, in rural areas, coffee plantation, for example, then using that produced in cities again and having your own coffee shops as well. Now, those aspirations are still there. But now the convenience of many are in the city. So, with this, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and even this Ministry of Industry and Commerce are starting to play a very important role even within our state of Nagaland. In other state too, already it's very important. Okay, so these two industry department is also in the rise. So this scheme tries to provide or will provide microcredit scheme. It provides microcredit to urban street vendors. Kindly remember the word urban, okay? We're focusing on urban area because every scheme will have their own beneficiaries, will have their own coverage. Kindly remember, it doesn't cover every area. rural schemes will not be implemented in urban area. Urban schemes will not be implemented in rural areas. Okay. Now, the implementing agency is SIDBI. Give me 1 second. SIDBI. So the objective of this is to provide them with an affordable working capital. So who all will benefit from it? People in urban areas, people in surrounding peri-urban areas, and also surrounding rural areas. And their work would be in urban area. Okay, they will carry out the street vendor in urban area. So if it comes within the ULB limits, then they're functioning okay. Then they would be under this street vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi. So the loan amount, it is an incremental loan system, okay, which means trenches, as per trenches, you would get access to higher amount of loan up to 50,000 rupees. It is a collateral free loan, which is a good thing because poor people cannot have collateral. They don't have property to put as collateral. So in the first duration, first year, you get 10,000. And if you repay this loan, you'll be eligible for the second tranche loan of 20,000. Then if you repay this, the third tranche of 50,000 loan. Okay, this is how collateral free loans are given for street vendors. Interest subsidy is also there up to 7%. Now, see, for Digital India, you can connect this as well, okay, if you want. If street vendors carry out their payment, the money they get for selling their produce in digital transaction, then they get a cashback of up to rupees 100 per month. Okay, 100 is the cap. So you get cashback. So it encourages the street vendors to be part of our digital transformation, right? Digital India campaign. Now, moving on, let's go to Swachh Bharat Mission. It is under Jal Shakti in rural area. And have we discussed this? I think we have discussed this, right? So kindly remember Swachh Bharat Mission. This is also part of your social issue, sanitation issue, right? Kindly remember behavioral changes and sanitation issue, waste management. All these are part of it. We have talked about bioremediation as well. No? Now coming to Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. Rural, I think almost everyone will be aware of it. No? Coming to urban, the implementation process is a little different, okay, in urban. So obviously, the overall idea is to provide housing for all, especially the urban poor, by creating affordable housing. There are various ways to implement this, okay? Now, the criteria is this urban poor, if they want to be covered under this affordable housing scheme, they should not own a Pakka house in any part of India. Okay, this is the criteria. They should not have Pakka house. This is the first criteria. Second is based on their income level, they are categorized into three groups. One is EWS, economically weaker section. They will have an income limit of 3 lakhs, up to 3 lakhs only per annum. We're talking per annum. Now we have lower income group, which is whose income is 3 to 6 lakhs per annum. We have the middle income group, whose income is 6 to 18 lakhs per annum. Now, this economically weaker section, they're eligible for all verticals. We have 4 verticals, okay? See, they're eligible for Now, these two, the remaining two, LIG and MIG, they are only eligible for credit linked subsidy scheme. Okay, so they will only be eligible for getting credit for construction of their home. Now, for EWS, we are providing them with in situ slum redevelopment. Let's say there is a slum area. Recently, one slum area is in the news in Mumbai, and if anyone knows the name, kindly in the chat, kindly type it. And this slum area is also under redevelopment, and it is by Adani Group. Okay, so it is a little controversial. So slum related question, if it comes, slum redevelopment, kindly do know about this, because even within our model we have PPP model. Okay, private public private partnership model as well. So kindly, what is this slum area? Very popular slum area. Please type it, and your friends can also know. We'll be talking about slum dwelling there. I'll give you the name, but if you know now, well and good. Now, something to look forward to, no? So credit linked subsidy scheme is also there, whereby these two will be applicable. Then affordable housing in partnership, right? A beneficiary led construction here. In this, it will be the beneficiary who will give their contribution as well, okay, for construction of the home. In partnership means private parties will come into play. Now, generally, what it does is whenever private sector are given the plot to redevelop, what they will do is, let's say this is a particular slum area, they will be given this plot of land. They would say, okay, in this plot of land, there are 10, let's say 1 million population. High density slum dwelling areas are very high density area, okay. This is on the upper limit. Let's take a lower number. Let's say we have 1 lakh population. So what the developer will do is, I'll use this much land, okay, let's say 50%. I'll use 50% of the land, develop a high-rise building. Okay, let's say we'll develop a high-rise building. Let's say we have made a small park here, high-rise building, community spaces, no? And we've made a small park here as well. And there are parking spaces available, let's say. And so I have a remaining 50% land here. So my benefit is, if I develop this slum, make the building for the area and all these things, then my incentive, my kickback is I get this free plot of land. And this plot of land can be used by my company for any purpose. So it becomes my property. This is how they get benefit for carrying out such work. Okay. The problem with, see, let us talk about slum dwelling now, since we are talking about it. The problem with such redevelopment initiatives are certain things are in concern, okay. One is either they do that, okay, what I've mentioned, or this is a slum area, they relocate the slum in different location far away from the existing area, and they provide them with housing, and this slum area is cleared and used for other purpose. Earlier it was 50% I get, 50% they take. Now the percentage is just a rough figure, okay? It can be in any combination. So now this type is called in situ slum redevelopment. Now these initiatives whereby the individual is taken to another location is called ex situ. Now in this, when you look at this, what is the problem? They're at least getting their house. So But the problem is when you do in situ, there's not much of a problem. At least you are living in that particular area. Now, with that restriction, you have converted your housing spaces only to residential spaces. So you cannot carry out the work you should do. If you are in a slum area, high density area, you are a tailor. Then you live in that area, you work in that area, right? So that is the lifestyle you are used to, and you have economic activity going on. But then it may also be affected to some extent. Let's say some of them work in a nearby factory or nearby manufacturing sector or in a nearby service sector. At least they were in a walkable distance or at least few minute distance away from their workplaces. So at least they did not suffer much. Now, with ex situ redevelopment, they are placed far away, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour away from their workspaces. So now transportation costs will become high. Distance has also increased. So you have to move out early, come back late, right? So women's safety also becomes a concern. Especially in metropolitan city, women's safety is a huge concern. In Kohima or Dimapur, women's safety is still all right. Okay, we have seen cases of deaths and harassment, etc. But at the same time, comparing it to other metropolitan city, the risk is still less. There should be no risks, but we don't live in an idle world. So but in metropolitan city, such distance traveling becomes becomes very risky for women, and that can also be one of the uh, point whereby women will not be empowered, they will not be allowed to work, because of travel distance, etc., etc. So there are so many issues regarding these things. Okay, so kindly remember, so at least they are giving a housing, but their livelihood is disturbed, right? So in situ is a good way to go forward. Okay. Mm, okay. Now even within this scheme, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban, we're trying to develop housing using better technologies as well. Okay. We have various initiatives. One such thing is called Lighthouse Project. Let us not go into detail, but we are trying to use technologies that are sustainable, eco-friendly, and even disaster resilient. Okay. Um, Now coming to our Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. In this, okay, I forgot to give you. Sorry, I was not thinking of teaching this portion, no? But then, anyways, the earlier example I was giving was Dharavi. Okay, you must have heard of it. Very popular slum area, Dharavi. It is under proposal and under process for slum redevelopment. Um, Coming to our Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, Ministry of Rural Development, to provide Paka housing with basic amenities to rural poor. Now, the beneficiaries are selected through SECC based beneficiary selection process. Villagers will give their listing, and it will be the ministry at the end to identify, to select, and we cannot select everyone. It is done on priority basis, who needs it more, and with subsequent years, more individuals can be included. Now, kindly know these things, okay? And obviously, if works are done, it is geotagged, and the fund is not much, okay? 1.2 to 1.3 lakhs. I mean, what kind of house can you make with approximately 1 lakh? Nothing much, okay? But then the amount allocated is also very less, so implementation becomes very challenging. For example, in hilly areas, 1.3 lakhs, okay, let's say 1.3 lakhs per you are asked to make a paka house. How can you make a paka house? For example, in what example shall I use? Shamatoro, okay. Let's say in Shamator, you're trying to build this house, Paka house, and the fund is only 1.3 lakhs. How can you make, please somebody give me an idea, how can I make 1.3 lakh house in Shamator, Paka house, okay? Because this is part of my ministry. This is part of my department. Please tell me. Because anyone from Shamator, forget Shamator, anyone from eastern area, particularly towards the boundary, you know, if you have a village closer to those areas, you know that transportation cost is also very high. Earlier, it used to be very high. Now it has reduced a little bit, but it's still high. Okay, materials to be brought. We don't have factories and industries within our state. So how can we do so? So it becomes very challenging, okay? And funds are very less and not realistic. So you can complain as much as you want, but then from policy level, if the whole thing is not feasible, then what can we do, right? Now coming to Amrut. Now Amrut is also important. It is for urban areas. It is under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. If you read the full name, you will understand it is Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. This is a very important scheme to provide universal water supply and sewage coverage in urban spaces. We're trying to provide, for example, Jal Shakti through Jal Jeevan Mission. We're providing functional tap water connection to houses, right? 55 liters per capita per day. This is the idea behind it. So in urban area as well, Amrut tries to provide functional tap water connection to urban houses. Plus, okay, there's one more. Plus sewage and septage management as well, okay, in urban spaces. So in all, through Amrut, 500 Amrut cities are to be covered. And what are the focus area? We have said water supply. We have discussed. We have talked about sewage and septage management. There is also in cities like Mumbai, whenever there is heavy monsoon, the issue of drainage system becomes very critical. Flooding takes place, okay, and life become very miserable. So stormwater drain, how do we manage this drainage system? And even in Kohima, you visit in Kohima, okay, and forget Kohima, even in Dimapur, you go to Dimapur and see, do we have green spaces? We are lacking in green spaces, okay, not much planning is done. You go to localities, any locality in Dimapur, not villages, okay, Dimapur city. You go to any locality, are provisions for park given? Are provisions for parking given? Public spaces, green spaces are not there. This is one of the issue with unplanned city. Okay, even in Kohima now, we don't have public spaces. Every locality you go, actually in cities, there should be park allocation for certain population density, but we don't have those things because it was not even a priority. Even in Dimapur today, there is a mad rush to sell land at high prices. There is also a mad rush among the consumer as well to buy land at any means possible, at any price possible. Okay. Even though the prices are astronomically high, people will just buy it. Yeah. That demand and supply chain has also given less incentive to provide public spaces because uh, our land ownership system is a little different. No? Now, green spaces is also an issue in Nagaland. Green coverage overall in Nagaland is high. No doubt we have so many forests, okay. But what about people living in urban areas? Do we have even our own green spaces? Whenever you do, okay, green park, that park, but I'm talking locality wise, okay. Now, moving forward, there is also provisions for non-motorized urban transport, okay, that is non-motorized. These are all the targets within it, see, climate resilience and urban water security. These are key areas you can remember. Vibrant villages program. This is also important because now kindly remember this. There are two programs, okay? One is Vibrant Villages program and the other is Border Area Development program, okay? Now, it is a centrally sponsored scheme and it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. In Vibrant Village program, we're focusing, both of them have the same goal. We're focusing on holistic development of border villages to improve their living condition and to prevent out migration, providing them with basic amenities. Okay. Now, in Vibrant Village program, our focus is only in the northern border. This is the difference between Vibrant Village program and Border Area Development program. We're focusing on villages in northern boundary. Okay, so only in this northern boundary, bounding with China. So we're trying to develop the infrastructure there, livelihood there, and tourism there. So people stay there. If you look at the news, and if you have been following the news, you would have realized that China is building artificial islands and even artificial villages. Nah? Houses will be there, people will not be there. Okay, infrastructure will be there. There will be very less people mending those villages so as to claim various territories in disputed lands. Okay, so now in response to this, we have Vibrant Village program. Ours, at least people were there. People are there. There are villages there. So let us develop those existing villages. Okay, that is the difference between democracy and dictatorship. Okay, now so this is the idea behind Vibrant Village program in border. So this will focus in northern boundary. Okay, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, right, and okay, Ladakh, etc. Na, that borders with China. Now in border area development program, it will cover all the bordering states. Okay, so we have 16 states and 2 UTs. And overall, we have around 457 blocks. Okay. So all these blocks would be covered. Now, here in Vibrant Village program, 660 plus villages only. Okay. That is the focus. So what they provide is the same, but the target is different. Now, coming to our next program, this is also very important because we are dealing with social security now, and at the same time providing them with a sense of safety net for people. Okay, particularly the old, the weak, the fragile. And it says that, you know, if you read polity, parents patria, na, the state is the father of everyone. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the state to take care of everyone, particularly the vulnerables. So in terms of social assistance, we have the old people, we have the widow, we have disabled people, and we have families whereby their primary breadwinner has passed away. So you cannot expect the state to take care of you in a way that all your needs are provided. But the state, what it can do, it will provide. Basic thing, at least some gesture, small or big, doesn't matter. A gesture or a support and assistance that may not be enough even for you to survive, but it will add as an extra income to at least elevate your situation. This is the idea behind such social assistance. So here, BPL is focused. Now, some may become old age, some may become disabled, some may become widow, right? We don't know within this BPL category. If you are a rich old man, okay, you have a fat career, you have earned crores and crores of rupees in your account, you're not going to be eligible for such social assistance. It is for the poor and the needy. So we have various initiatives within this. For example, we have no, let's start with old age. So the full form is Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme. So this is for all people to get pension. Now in Nagaland, implementation is not very high. If you go to your villages, there will be complaints from these old people that I'm not getting my old age pension. No? You must have heard of those things because we have a ceiling limit. Okay, the government does not have unlimited money, na ceiling limit thage. So whoever is the oldest, then this list will be made, na oldest to youngest. Even within the old people, this hierarchy will be made. Now in some villages, because of some political issue, the younger one, let's say, is related to a powerful, village strongman, then they may get benefited, even though, let's say, the second oldest guy is not getting benefited, nah, or woman is not getting benefited. So such things are there. Implementation lapses are there. If you find such thing within your villages, please report, okay? Because this comes under our ministry, our RD, Rural Development, but in convergence with social welfare, we work together. So now, okay. So in Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, if you are 60 to 79 years, you'll get 200 per month. See, Nagaland government is adding on, okay, add on. Aside Nagaland lagado. Kindly look into that matter. There's an add-on provision. Now, all age people in Nagaland will get more than this. And then if you're 80 or more, you get 500. Now for widow, we have Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme. So from 40 years to 79, minimum is 40. You would get 300 rupees per month. Then if you reach 80 plus, then you naturally come under this and you get 500 per month. Third, you have Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme. So it starts with 18 for disabled, no? To 79 years, you will get 300. And if obviously 80 plus, then you get here. Because 200 is lesser, no? So special cases like widow and disabled people, they get 100 rupees more compared to others. No? But once they reach the 80 plus, they all come under the 500 per month. We also have National Family Benefit Scheme. Let's say the primary breadwinner among the BPL family died. So one-time cash incentive or assistance will be given by the state. State means the government overall, no, will provide you 20K one-time assistance. Okay, and we also have what is called as Annapurna scheme. Under this, senior citizens who are eligible for this, okay, see, who are eligible for old age pension scheme, but they are not getting it. Why? Because we have a ceiling limit, I've told you. So instead of this, since they are not getting cash incentive, they would be given 10 kg of food grain. Unconditional, okay? Unconditional free food grain, 10 kg per month. Okay, free of course, unconditional. So it substitute the financial burden. Okay. Ceiling limit thakilibi, you are eligible for this. Okay. So kindly, if you see anyone in rural areas, try to at least make them aware. Na? Kiman awareness campaign kurili na people, it becomes difficult. And the thing is, whether the state government can even implement this or not. Okay. This is also another concern. Even now in fair price shops as well, there are so many issues. Not fair price shop under National Food Security Act. See, in social issues, food security is very important. Okay, so fair price shop TV, we have so many issues. See, you cannot blame the fair price shop run retail outlet also. Okay, because first of all, in state like Nagaland, population density is less, and at the same time, transportation and logistic cost is very high. So how can they make benefit? This is where the concern comes, and the state government is also not providing. They do provide transportation allowances, okay, but it is not realistic. It doesn't meet the actual demand that is required for them, okay. So that is why we see so many lapses in this implementation, and it's always in the news for all the wrong reasons. But at the same time, we can blame them because they're doing something wrong. But at the same time, the root cause, what is the root cause? You as a civil servant aspirants, okay? Civil servant aspirants, you should not look like common people. You should not always complain, no? Implementation, this, that. But you should look at the root cause. We should look at the policy level. What is wrong at the policy level that this is happening? For example, schemes like Manrega also, where because of excessive decentralization, works are not being carried out. So how do we balance this check and balances? We are trying to go digital, but we are pushing for digital, less capacity building, less fund for capacity building, and at the same time you want things to be done. So there are so many lapses, okay. So you should look at the bigger policy level. And as a civil servant aspirant, one thing I will request all of you: fight for your own right, no doubt about it, okay, but at the same time try to find solutions, okay. Less complain. This is for mob, okay. This is for laymen who doesn't know how the world function, who doesn't know what laws exist, who doesn't know how policies are implemented. You shouldn't be like them. You should be solution oriented. I see a problem. How do I solve this problem? If you have this mentality, then even in your answer writing, it will help you a lot. Okay. Even in your interview, it will help you a lot. And even after you are selected and you enter the job, you now are part of the state, right? You now are the people who they keep complaining without understanding now. So if you have been the one doing that, now you have become part of it, right? But you know, this is also not right. We should find solution. We should find constructive ways to deal with it, no? Thinking at the higher policy level, right? So kindly keep these things in mind as an aspirant. It will help you in your character development as well. And when you enter the job as well, you'll be more positive, you'll be more change oriented, even though you may not be given the power to do much, okay, though you have so many good ideas, but at least you'll have the enthusiasm to do something within your own jurisdiction, right? Right now, young officers, when they enter the service, they're not given much responsibilities, okay. They're just there to learn, etc., etc. Now, because of that, their talents are also not utilized properly, and when they go to the actual ground within their own jurisdiction, they have not much people to learn from, so they have to learn from the scratch again, right? And in that, they end up doing so many mistakes as well. Yeah. So such things are there. A proper convergence, proper actual on ground practice is actually required, okay. Only few services are given proper training. Now, coming to the next one, which is also very important, which comes under rural development, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So this is to make rural roads in rural parts of our country. Now, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana focuses on last mile rural connectivity. creation of rural roads. Okay, the funding is not much. Okay, sadly, so it is very hard to implement, and particularly in hilly states and states where there's so many monsoon related landslides, and because of because of the soil structure as well, no, it becomes very hard to maintain them. You give the funding to make the road, will just get destroyed because the funding is very less, no. According to the funding, you have to build the road. You cannot increase the size also. It has to be a very small road. Duita car hardly pull over there. Such roads are to be made as per funding. Approval is also given only for such things. Okay, technical approval is required. So this Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, no, it is very hard. Okay, maintenance also very hard. Particularly, see, even in our national highway, the one that runs in Kohima Dimapur, that is also very hard to maintain. Not because there is no funding, because of the topography. Okay, because of the uh, soil type or the rock type. Sorry, rock type. Because of monsoon, because of plying of heavy vehicles, because this is a road quality, how much good quality you make, no. If there is intermittent wetting and heavy load, no, then the road will naturally get destroyed. Okay, it's not about the quality also. So these things are there, actual ground reality. Like I've said, you as a civil servant aspirants, you should look beyond complaining. You should look at actual statistics, come up, be more carry out observations that are scientific in nature. Okay, and policy assessment should be done. So now in Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, we're trying to create roads, right, connecting rural areas. Let's say within rural areas there may be a market, there may be farmers market. We're trying to connect those areas. Let's say there are certain primary health centers. We're trying to connect those areas, right? So sanction is 70,000 crore. Okay, 70,000 crore. Now you may think 70,000 crore is very high, but I'm telling you, this is for the whole country. 1 lakh crore is also very less. Okay, when we talk about the whole country, so 70. When you see, when you are still an aspirant, now you when you hear 10 crore, you will say, "Wow, okay." When you enter the service, if you hear 10 crore, then you'll just say, "Acha, okay." Not impressive at all. Okay, this kind of money for public service delivery na, is very less. Okay, honestly saying, how much efficient you are, it is very less, because when you talk about public service, it covers such large area. To make a proper road, okay, 1 kilometer road, if you are going to make a good quality, high quality 1 kilometer road, let's say 2 lane only. Okay, that also, it will require 1 to 2 crore. Okay, just for one kilometer stretch, if you're making the best of the best quality. So now that is why roads schemes like road construction, the cost is very high, very high. Now, so we are trying to cover at least 25,000 kilo. We are trying to cover at least 62,000 kilometer. Okay, this will include roads. Wherever bridges are required, bridge will also be created. That is the idea behind it. Coming to DAY NRLM. This comes under Rural Development. National Rural Livelihood Mission. In Nagaland, we have Nagaland State Rural Livelihood Mission, NSRLM. Recently, we conducted a fest. I don't know if you guys attended. It was in the local ground in Kohima. Whenever such fests are conducted, please visit the fest. Okay, visit the event, because there you get to see so many SHG product. Okay, self-help group products. I also went and bought a lot of stuff. Pickle is also there. Handicrafts and handloom are also there. Various food processing products, various organic farming produce are also there. And you would think, okay, they're selling it, so the prices will be very high. No, SHG's products are low. Okay, prices are not that high, because the government actually compensates them through many ways now for coming to such events. So the price will not be astronomically high like you see in other events. So kindly visit, buy stuff. There will also be Nagaland bamboo societies, nah? They will also come and sell their produce. Okay, not just bamboo products, but various other, let's say, plates, uh, spoons, and all this made of wood, nah? Pickle, chutney, mortar and pestle, all this beautiful handicraft stuff will come. Free medical test is also provided, and concerts were also provided. We do this on, so even next year also it will come again. So if you're in Kohima, please, when you hear about this NSRLM annual event, kindly come. Okay. Uh, that is beyond the topic, but you as a student, as an aspirant, you should go to places like this, okay, where you learn something. SSG from, let's say, from Mon, SSG from Sitimi area, or SSG from Tening area, etc., etc. No? Places you have not been, sometimes you see places you have not heard of. So it opens your mind. So here we are trying to elevate the condition of rural poverty through SHG-based livelihood promotion. Okay, so earlier we have discussed about self-help group, how they function. I think we need not go into detail. Kindly make use of this element, because you should know what is the overall idea, livelihood mission. So what kind of livelihood we are trying to particularly promote in the micro sector, okay, micro enterprises, and will provide them with credit support and technical support, capacity building support to ensure their self-employment, and skilling is also done so that they get skill wage. You also heard about drone DD scheme, right? Now drone DD scheme is also a skilling program for SHG in rural areas. So now with this drone, they will also be given, SHGs will also be given drone. With this drone, their skill has been enhanced. Now they can earn better. They can carry out pesticide spraying, herbicide spraying in farm and earn money, right? So this is how things are integrated. Kindly remember. Let's move a little quickly. Our class duration is almost over. Now, I'll give you 1 minute break. Kindly stretch yourself, drink some water, stand up, walk around, okay? Refresh yourself, please. Yes, green space, Kohima War Cemetery, no doubt. But I'm saying locality wise, okay? Itu tu, you are talking about the whole city, nah? We also have a memorial park that is created by Japanese government, nah? That is also there. But having one or two just for the entire city is not enough, right? For example, in new secretariat area also, there's so many potential for identification of such public spaces. There's this NSF Memorial Park that's also there, nah? Which is good. So what I'm saying is we should do more of such things, okay? And if there is an expansion of city, we should allocate them in every locality. Okay, at least a small one. We are not asking for a big park. A small park whereby all people, young people, can just come, sit together, walk around, do their morning exercise. Nah? All these public spaces is required. We may not see the need of it now, but later on when the city expand, nah, and we don't have such spaces, we cannot destroy the house and create such spaces again. For example, in Chumukidima area, a new city is coming up. So we have to develop such spaces more, okay? One, two is not enough. That's what I'm saying. Okay, some question. This question may be related to your examination as well, especially in terms of administration related question when it comes. Na? One of your colleague, one of your aspirant is asking, sir, in your capacity as a BDO, what are the major hindrances faced in implementing these schemes other than obvious reasons like weak implementation and corruption? See, there is no other than, okay? It's just these two. No doubt weak implementation is there, corruption is there, so those things. But like we have said, there are many other unaccounted issues which I cannot say, okay, as part of the service. It becomes hard for us to say anything because it get back to us and our career will be jeopardized, okay. So certain sensitive issues cannot be shared in public. This is the sad reality, okay. Maybe when we have a cup of tea together in the future, I can share you more, okay? But not in such public spaces because it deals with various things within my service, okay? Kindly bear with me in that regard. As you to living one night, so when he now being part of the system, they have also become like don't think in that way, okay? Once you enter the service, you will know there are so many restrictions and we can't just be saying things we want. Nah? Um, 1 second. Let me convert your PDF. Sometimes because the PDF doesn't respond to the pen, so I have to convert it. Okay. But actual on-ground implementation also, when you have a weak lower staff, okay, because there will be certain areas whereby through various means people have entered the service. Some of them who entered through those means also, they're very efficient, okay. You'll be very surprised. They're even smarter than people who have cleared the examination. So such people, it's so fortunate to have. The department benefits a lot and it's so good to work, and whenever works are being allocated, they do the work very well. But then people who enters through various means and even through competitive exam, if they have entered, they're incompetent. So if you have such people within your workforce as your subordinate, then you also suffer a lot, okay. So kindly keep this in mind. And yeah, but in Nagaland, everything is adjusted and we function, okay. Don't worry. Adjustment, everything will be adjusted. You don't have to worry about it. Now, and like I've said, even me, I've not I've not been allocated a block yet, okay. Hopefully this month will get posted. Hopefully, or else it may get delayed again by a month or so, but we're hoping this month will get allocated. Then with that, we'll get actual ground experience and we'll be able to share you more on ground reality. Right now, I'm posted in the directorate, so that is the only thing I can share. I'm posted in Manrega division, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Livelihood Mission. Now it has become VP Jiramji. Na? So when that particular area come, I'll be able to share more of it, okay? Since I'm in that division. Now, Aditi, I will not go in much detail here, okay? Aditi, easing development of innovative technologies with IDEX. So here, we're trying to innovate various technologies so as to ensure that indigenization of defense technology takes place and people overall gets benefited, okay, less import expenses and all that. So it is a sub scheme of IDEX full form is innovating defense ecosystem. So kindly remember, indigenization and focusing on 30 critical deep technology, defense technology. This is one thing you have to know. And total grant outlay is 750 crore, which is very less for this, okay, because this is a challenge. This is a competition whereby people who win will get certain financial reward and investment in their technology prototypes. Now, kindly keep this in mind. Let us not go into too much detail because this is not very important. For example, Digital India program. We'll go a little quick, okay, because I want to complete your schemes, major schemes today and tomorrow. Uh, no doubt we have discussed social issues also. Na? We're dealing with social issues together, but I want to deal with this over and deal with specific social issues tomorrow. Now, in Digital India program, we're trying, this is through Ministry of Electronics and Technology, okay? So we are trying to transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. There are three pillars here. Kindly keep in mind, we're trying to develop the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure that we require. No? Then providing them with governance and services. So how do you use those digital technology and digital empowerment of the people overall? So this is the target. And kindly remember, the idea is to bridge the digital divide, ensuring we have digital inclusion. Kindly keep this in mind. Moving straight away to Samrit program. In Samrit program, this is for startup accelerators of MEITI for product innovation, development, and growth. Okay, kindly remember this is from startup, particularly in the MEITI. Okay, in the electronics, sector. Since this is very specific, let us not waste our time. Coming to National Supercomputing Mission. From our examination point of view, from Nagaland perspective, may not be very important. So we'll not waste time here, okay? But just get an idea that this is to empower our national academy and R&D institute by installing various supercomputer. You must have heard of supercomputer as an aspirant. If you have not heard of it, then it's just a sorry state, but I will assume that you know what supercomputers are. Okay, they are made to perform specific functions, not like the normal computers we have, which are multi tasks. No, this is for a specific task. Okay, and they perform at a very high speed. And if question comes, what is petaflops? I don't know what is flops, then you at least know the full form. And please remember that this is regarding supercomputer. So flops means floating. Please know the full form. Floating point operations. Floating point operations per second. So this is how the speed of the supercomputer is measured. Okay, we have four pillars. Quickly, four pillars. What are those pillars? First is development of infrastructure regarding this, applications of those tech, R&D to develop our supercomputers, and even human resource development, that is training individuals for R&D or for usage of such supercomputers. Now, kindly keep this in mind. The fastest supercomputer is IBM. Please update yourself if this is updated. Okay, IBM submit at 200 peta flops. Okay, this is the speed. In India, the fastest is AI robot. If this has changed, kindly cross check. It is 13 petaflops. Okay, see, highest survey and where we are now, they're still lagging behind. Okay, I think overall in the world, this is 75 rank. But remember, we have only one or two in top 500. Okay, so we still have a lot of two or three, I guess, to improve upon. And various countries like USA, China, Japan, etc., they are performing very well. Now, coming to another one which will be relevant for us from sustainable environment related issue, biodiversity conservation issue, is Secure Himalaya project. Kindly keep this in mind. Now, secure laga full form, please Google yourself. It is securing livelihood, conservation, sustainable use, and restoration of high-range Himalayan ecosystem. The idea behind it is to ensure that we contribute to conservation of biodiversity and ensure that the livelihood that people in such Himalayan areas carry out their livelihood is sustained, and if possible, maybe alternate livelihoods are also provided, which is more sustainable in nature. And in this part of this, because of biodiversity element, we're also focusing on snow leopard landscape, thereby contributing to global snow leopard ecosystem protection program. Okay, indirectly because of this, we have, and we are also a range country when it comes to snow leopard. So snow, through this, snow leopard is also protected from biodiversity point of view. Kindly keep this thing in mind, because see, snow leopard ki karne, why are we focusing on snow leopard? We are talking about biodiversity. And why is snow leopard the focus? Why? Because they are keystone species. Okay, please know the definition of keystone species. This species is essential and vital for the whole ecosystem to survive. Okay, kindly keep this thing in mind. Without snow leopard, the ecosystem in this Himalayan region may also undergo some degradation. Now, another aspect to also see is for this to work about funding international, no doubt the central government will also contribute, but then we also get funding from Global Environment Facility, even from UNDP, okay? Now, coming from international funding, kindly go through FCRA. Kindly, it is in the news, okay? Um, it is in the news. So kindly go through FCRA. Now, oh, did US bomb did US bomb Iran? Anyone? Any update? International question. I just got reminded because Trump was saying he is going to destroy everything nah, at 8 p.m., which will be around 6 a.m. in our time. Let's see, okay? Okay, Trump announces 2-week ceasefire as Iran agrees to reopen Strait of Hormuz. Good news, or else so many war crimes would have been committed. Nah. Okay, that's at least good news for the day. I was really worried, okay, if the talk did not progress, then a lot of lives would have been lost and a civilization would be pushed back to Stone Age. No? I mean, the technology, the infrastructure that is required to rebuild when it is bombed to such state, no infrastructure, their bridges are destroyed, major airports will be destroyed, the power plants will be destroyed, oil refineries will be destroyed. If all these things is destroyed, 100 years is also not enough to get to come back to such stage because who is going to give you money to do this? Anyways, you're not a friendly nation. Look at the state of Afghanistan today, where they are now. So it is such a story state, okay? No doubt the IRGC and the Ayatollahs and various other religious fundamentalists that are there is not a good thing, but then this is not the right way. No? Anyways, coming to our next topic, which is National Action Plan on Climate Change. So this is a central sector scheme, and this is an overarching scheme whereby various schemes are also there. And this gives a policy direction to various ministries on how to implement their schemes also. No? So this is to adopt climate change and enhance our ecological sustainability. Okay, when we're carrying out our development part, how can we be sure that we are sustainable? Now there are various core missions. For example, see, National Solar Mission, you have heard of that. National Water Mission, National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, National Mission on Energy Efficiency. Now, all these things, what we're trying to do is we're trying to ensure that we are climate resilient and we're sustainable. That is the overall idea behind National Action Plan on Climate Change. It is a policy framework. It is not a scheme in itself. Okay, it gives policy direction to ensure that all the schemes function in and various schemes exist to achieve sustainability. So anything regarding sustainable development kindly incorporate this very element, NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change. Okay, very important topic. Now, I was talking about this earlier, Vikshit Bharat Jiramji Act. Now, right now, this is not in full swing implementation. We are still under process. We had a uh, we generally have many meetings with central ministry, no? VC, there were video conference. And see, one interesting thing I've observed is, and with this, mains value addition will also be there, okay? Discussions are generally not time pass, okay? It helps you give some value addition. So when we had a meeting with central ministry, there was a young IAS who was, I think, 2013 batch, Maharashtra Kedar. Then she came to our ministry, and in central ministry, I think she is additional secretary now. So there, what I've observed was actually with the coming of mission, I think you have heard of it, no? Mission Karma Yogi. What are we trying to do? We are trying to go from rule based to role based, right? You have heard of this. So what I've observed personally was attending this VC, a young IS officer. There were other senior members as well. We're not disrupting her. We're not going through an ego trip. No, Nagas, we generally have a big ego. Na? So they were not going through an ego trip. Or there was not much of a disruption, okay, when she functioned her role. Because she was dealing additional secretary of Manrega and now to be VBG Ramji, given functional autonomy in that sense, okay, everything explained by her, explained properly, questions also asked to anybody who is concerned, okay, regardless of the hierarchy. So in a rule based civil civil services structure, you are going to focus solely on hierarchy. You're going to have so much rigidity in functioning. But here in role based, you're going to see certain individuals being provided a particular skilling. And here, so in role based, they're going to be generalist. Okay. So here, through Mission Karma Yogi, you're trying to provide a proper skill to civil servant so that whatever role they're functioning with efficiency and they're effective. Right. This is the target. And in doing so, they will attain some level of proper skilling and they would be competent and meritorious. And such person should be given functional autonomy. They should not be given full autonomy. They will have accountability. They do need accountability. But whatever role they are functioning, they should be given the autonomy to function, provided they function within the framework of the rule, right? So this is the shift through Mission Karma Yogi, rule based to role based. This you can implement even in your mains answer writing as well. Okay. Now coming back to our, because Vikshit Bharat and I attended the meeting and this was the personal observation. I've also been reading about it and personally I've seen it happening. Not all the time, but in few cases. Okay. Now VB Jiramji, this is to ensure that you get at least a minimum wage. Minimum wage is allocated for you for unskilled work in a rural area. Earlier in Manrega, it was 100 days per year, but now it has been increased to 125 days per year. In this, there are few areas. Now, one for agricultural purposes in peak agricultural season, 60-day pause is provided. Please remember MCQ. 60-day pause is provided whereby no work will be allocated so that there are workforce available for agricultural activities, whether it is sowing, whether it is harvesting, etc., etc., whereby workforce is required in agricultural sector. This is 60 is the maximum. It can be lesser than that. It will be on the state to decide the duration and also when it occurs, which month it requires, depending on the type of agricultural activities taking place in the state. Now, in contingency situation, if there are any calamities, okay, in contingency situation, the state can the allocation for work that is beyond 125 days can also be allocated if the government feels that such are the felt needs of the region. Okay, so to provide more assistance, such additional work can also be allocated. So this is the overall scheme you have to know now. And also we are trying to ensure there's proper digitalization. Okay, and we are also trying to ensure that there's village level planning that is done. Okay, village will go, they will know, okay, this is my village, I need this work here, I need a plantation here, or I need a drought proofing in this area, or I need a rural road. Okay, whatever the need is within the villages, the village level will identify, then they would upload it in Yugdara portal and it should be within the permissible work. Okay, not all works are permissible. So if it comes under the permissible work, then that will be approved and it will be implemented. Okay, so village are also empowered through process of decentralization to carry out the planning and also putting up of proposal, okay, depending on the locally felt needs. These are the few things you have to keep in mind regarding Vikshit Bharat Jiramji Act. I can go in thorough detail, but then it will not be required for your examination. Now, EMPS. Quickly, EMPS, Electric Mobility Promotion Scheme. This scheme came into being. Are you all able to catch up, or am I too fast? Kindly be honest. Okay. See, regarding the PDF, like I've said, there are so many factual inaccuracy. I don't want this not to float in the market with such inaccuracy. And I'll be honest with you, I had so many such limited time. Okay, I was checking your answer. I went to IMM Shillong for my training. Okay, this was training at a higher level. Fortunately, I was the junior most who went. Okay, from our department, two people went from our whole department. One was the deputy director, and one was me. So I went there. During the time I was allocated to check your answer paper, I did not have the time because it starts from morning and we come back at after 6. Okay, so whole day activity was done. So I was not able to do it. Then I came back. So many mock tests was conducted, and I had to check so many things. Then I have to also work right in my offices. I have to do my due diligence of doing things that are allocated, and it was March 10, all the government offices are in a rush. Okay, financial year is ending. Na? So whatever you have spent, whatever you have done, you have to report, and whatever you need, you have to submit again. No, so we become busy. We do not deal with financial matter as of now, but then so many small things are allocated to us. So we do get occupied. So in that rush, after that was done, I had to come back and prepare all the notes for you. Na? So, and these are dynamic topics. We cannot just take from one source and teach you. We have to look at one source, let's say Vision IS, then Insight. Let's say in this, it is not mentioned all, then we have to go to another. Na? And let's say state related inputs we have to also provide, so we have to study a little bit, follow up with the news. So those things are there, huh? So it becomes a little challenging sometimes. Okay, so in that process we may not be able to provide you with the best thing, but then I will guarantee you that it is better than other things that are floating in the market. Okay, and like I've said, you may complain as much as you want, but then if you are getting a better quality insights from people who are already in service, you should also show some appreciation. Nah? Now, give them a chance one again. Say is FCI will be similar as WAF bill. No, they're not similar. They're related in the sense it deals with religious issue as well. FRCA though it deals with financial contribution given by foreign outside of the country to NGOs and other non-profit organizations within the country, and this will function with the funding of external sources and internal sources as well. Domestic funding is also there. Now, the concern with the Ministry of Home Affairs is that such contribution comes with kickbacks. Let's say I'm giving a funding to a Christian organization. This may not be true, okay, but this is the assumption. I'm giving a funding foreigner, let's say from other part of European country, is giving funding to an NGO or a charitable trust or a certain religious institution, and that institution is carrying out conversion activity. No? Or let's say is giving funding to various outlets, yeah, and they're working in sentiment against national interests that threatens national integrity, sovereignty of the country. So these are general terms that are used, and even progressive NGOs, NPOs, and other institutions are also affected because of this. Okay, so that is the thing. But WAF Act is dealing with the property which is called WAF that is allocated by certain individuals as donation for religious use. Na? So tate, how the state is trying to regulate it by the state playing more role by being part of the member and playing more role to ensure that no discrimination happens, no illegal transfer happens. Sometimes forceful donation may also be there. No? So many issues are there. Kindly go through it. No, we are not dealing with polity now. Now, Trump is such a great man. He keeps giving warning after warning, but always chooses to give them time to change the way he doesn't know. I don't know if your comment is sarcastic or you are a very Trump fan. Okay, I will not share my political ideology here, but one thing I will say is at least with Trump in power, there are few things IR related discussion. No? One is uh, um, the US assurance that existed is compromised. The defense security that US provided is also compromised. But at the same time, there is also another benefit which you can see not for us, okay, us we are facing a lot of issue, but for them would be domestic industries are increasing with tariffs and all that, and at the same time countries will think twice when US is doing certain things, nah? And like bestly put would be by S. J. Shankar, nah? He said, with Trump back in power, every issue is out of syllabus. Okay, you cannot predict him. This is the short summary of how Trump is. Um, okay, so in EMPS, electric mobility promotion scheme. Earlier, you have heard about Fame 1, okay, Fame 2, this is done. Now with that, EMPS came about and we are focusing on two-wheeler and three-wheeler going electric, okay? And certain incentives will be given. So the incentives is 5,000 rupees per kilowatt hour as per the battery capacity, okay, for two-wheelers and three-wheelers, but it will be capped at 15% of their ex-factory price, okay? It cannot go beyond that. Now coming to, so please remember, we are trying to promote electric mobility through EMPS, Electric Mobility Promotion Scheme. Kindly remember this. Atma Nirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, as the name itself suggests, this is regarding employment generation. There are three pillars here, okay? First is we are trying to create new employment. Please listen, there will not be much writing here. We're trying to create new employment. We're trying to provide social security for workers, Provident Fund. Na? So who will come under this? EPFOs, right? They will be in charge, the implementing agency. So they will have social security. Okay. The tahan laga Provident Fund thaki jawa. And these are people only if they are earning below 15,000 per month. If any one of you is working and etc., then you should also work for such thing, okay, Provident Fund. Now, if there's any job that is lost during COVID-19, we are trying to restore those jobs as well through this Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana. Now, Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandan. Now, this is also regarding pension. Again, this is important, okay, for social issue as well, because in a way, this provides all age pension to unorganized sector worker. Generally, pensions are either given to organized sector worker or this all age, etc., right? But then we need to have a dedicated pension scheme for even unorganized sector workers as well. And since this is an insurance thing, LIC is implementing it, and we're trying to at least provide them 3,000 rupees per month in their retirement. All age take mana say 500 rupees na at the higher level when you get 80 years and above. At the lower level, it was 200 rupees per month from 60 to 79. So kindly tell me which 200 rupees can you survive in this economy? 200 rupees to ki bahar de jale hawa khaina khatam ho jawo de. So this is why it becomes essential that at least unorganized sector also have some pension for them, assured pension for them. And this is voluntary in nature. They can decide, and this is not free. They have to contribute. Okay, so the target is 300 rupees per month. And depending on your entry age, the entry age highest level is 40 and lowest is 18 within this. Now, whether you enter early or late, depending on that, how many rupees you have to give per month to get this 3,000 rupees uh, per month after 60 years will be determined, will be calculated. Okay. I hope this should be clear. The government will give a matching contribution of 50%. If you give 200 rupees, the government will give 200 rupees. Okay, matching contribution would be there to make sure that you reach that 3,000 rupees per month assured pension after you reach 80 years. Now, for MSME, MSME is always important. MSME, like I've said, agriculture has been important. Now, MSME is on the rise because employment is very high. And even when we talk about women employment, this is also very high. At the same time, technology is not used much. There is not much of capital investment. Okay, labor code is not followed properly. Women rights may not be provided. Maternity leave may not be provided much. Job security may not be there. Okay, so kindly whatever top points I'm giving, please listen to them. Job security may not be there, and working environment may not be healthy, work culture may not be progressive. There are many issues regarding this, but still then it employs a lot of people, and at the same time it has become the backbone of major industries as well, especially in supplying of various components. Okay, components as well. So MSME sector therefore is very important for our economy. And because of that, we also need to encourage them. We also need to ensure that their productivity also rises. So with this, ramp is set up, raising and accelerating MSME productivity. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to ensure that they are productive, their productivity is enhanced. And how do we do so? We're trying to provide them with certain credit system as well. Okay, and to ensure they have market access as well. And not only that, we're also trying to improve technology within MSME, because if MSME goes green, then our economy will also go green. Because of that, we have various, so to achieve this, we have various sub schemes within this as well. For example, MSME green investment and financing for transformation scheme. So kindly remember, we're trying to go green. Second is trying to ensure we have circular economy, right? Circular economy, I've explained to you what circular economy is. So we're trying to ensure we reach zero emission, greenhouse gas emission. What is our target? 2070. Go back and at least once na sustainable thing related करने national determined contribution और पंच मरित खन्ना पूरी भी दे एक बार please go through it. Know the points. So we're trying to achieve all this through ramp, raising and accelerating MSME productivity. Now coming to the next point, Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program. Here what we are trying to do is we're trying to provide a credit linked subsidy scheme. Will provide credit, okay, and it will be at a subsidized rate and the interest rate will also be low. In this employment, the main target of ours is to create employment through such credit. Now, the focus is at micro enterprises. Objective of this is to create micro enterprises. Okay, and let's say the maximum project cost for manufacturing is 50 lakhs. Okay, we're focusing at micro. Kindly keep this in mind. And for service sector is 20 lakhs. This is the maximum project cost through which funding would be given, because subsidy for your project will be provided. See, subsidy scheme is very less, okay, in India these days. It's all credit based or interest subvention based already these days. So giving direct subsidy is very less. And any one of you who actually wants to start your own business, you should also try to apply for Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program. Okay, loan power there at a lower interest rate with subsidy as well. No doubt you have to provide your own contribution as well. I was talking to one of the joint directors in Industry and Commerce, and one thing he has said regarding our implementation of various schemes, okay, and particularly even regarding various schemes for you to take loan and start your own businesses. one thing they've said was bank is very reluctant to give loan to Naga youths. Why? Because most of them turns into NPA, non-performing asset wajai. Because we don't tend to give back our loans, na. And kinya hovo collateral bhi nahi, and land can be pata bhi nahi. So there are so many issues to get loan sanctioned, na. But then you should be smart enough to run for yourself and do all the needful if you actually wants to start a business and get a little funding, na. Bank generally loves to give loan to people who at least have made a capital investment of their own prior to taking of loan, na, within the business. Now, let's come to MSc Cluster Development Program. Okay. So cluster development program team, what we are trying to do is we're trying to develop MSME but in a cluster format. Okay, ekta ina nakurigina convergence kurigina, making use of it together, resources shared together and optimizing. Now coming to Pradhan Mantri, we have to move a little fast. RAM the focus kuribi and Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program, more than enough MSME. Na. Here let's come to minority affairs. This is important sections for society. Okay, in Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, this is regarding minority affairs. We focus on minority communities. Please know this minorities that I will mention as per National Commission for Minority Act of 1992. We have an act called National Commission for Minority Act of 1992. In this, these minorities are mentioned. Muslims are mentioned. See, Muslims are also called, they are the, most highly populated minority, okay, in other words, majority minority, or what will be the exact term for it? If you can, please suggest in the chat. But yeah, now next is Christian, next is Buddhist, Sikh, Jain, and Parsi, okay, Parsis. So these are the minorities within our country. Now, so focusing on these minorities, we are trying to develop infrastructure projects within and provide basic amenities, reducing the developmental imbalances in areas whereby there are high concentration of minority population. So there would be a catchment area. Let me redraw this. There would be a catchment area of 15 kilometer radius. Now, in this catchment area, if 25% or more is minority, then PMJVK, Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, is applicable in that particular catchment area. And in that catchment area, basic amenities will be provided and basic infrastructures would be provided. Okay, community assets will be created. Now, if community assets are created, it doesn't mean that only these minorities will be the one to use those community assets. No, if community assets are created, everyone within this catchment area would be benefited from such community asset. It is not exclusive, but rather inclusive. But the criteria is set as 25% minority, so as to ensure that a large chunk of minority is benefited. Okay, where there are high concentration. So what are they going to develop? They're going to develop education-related thing, health, skill development will also be provided. Women-centric projects will also be taken up. Okay, now skill India program, I think we have discussed this. I've told about Pradhan Mantri Kosal Vikas Yojana for short term, right? I think I've not mentioned, but there's JSS, okay, Jan Shiksha Sansthan. This is to provide vocational training. Itu do na school and college dropout, I've told you earlier. Pradhan Mantri Kosal Vikas Yojana, you should know what they're doing. This is for school and college dropout. Tahanke short course training the world, skilling will be provided, certificate will be provided, and now they can be employed, right? Then JSS, this is vocational training. John, please remember this. Implement this in your mains. Because now in Nagaland, we have an unemployment issue. unemployment is not only for educated unemployed. Okay, now you become very narrow and you become very self-centered. Unemployment, educated, unemployed youth, educated. What about uneducated? What about college dropout? What about high school dropout? Are we going to ignore them just because educated, unemployed can be shared? No, we should look at overall development of people. So, even for high school dropout and even people who are illiterate, who are non-literate, illiterate is a wrong term. We should use the word non-literate. We should be a little more sensitive. Okay, non-literate. Even non-literate people should also be benefited by providing them with vocational training. Okay, that means education related, no ina kumba skill related, na carpentry hobby, pottery hobby, handcraft hobby, whatever. Na let us provide them with some vocational training so as to ensure that they get employed. Okay, and I've already told you about National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, right? This is for individuals to at least get some stipend and get experience. Okay, and see, craftsman training scheme is also there. Okay, so all this exists, so kindly keep this in mind. Now, namaste, this is also important when it comes to overall country. In Nagaland, we don't see much of this, no, because we don't have a caste system, right? Caste system na takakani. But the challenges of sanit of manual sanitation is still high. As the population of city increases, those issues will also increase more. Okay, but manual scavenging and manual fecal human fecal removal, all these things is less. Okay, in Nagaland, thankfully we actually are motorized, mechanized as one lah. So we're at least thankful there. Some instances such manual things also exist, but so the idea is national action plan for mechanized sanitation ecosystem is to ensure that at least sanitation workers live a dignified life. Sanitation workers find alternate livelihood. Kindly listen properly. They get alternate livelihood. Okay, this is to cover at least all the ULBs. Okay, urban local bodies, all the ULBs. So the target is here: eliminate manual scavenging and promote mechanized sanitation. Rehabilitation means providing them with alternate livelihood, providing them with PPE, sewer cleaning machines will be promoted, which means no sanitation worker should come in direct contact with human fecal matter. Okay, dignity and safety of the sanitation workers. Safety in the sense we're trying to achieve zero fatalities for sanitation workers. Kindly remember namaste. Okay. Implement them. Vulnerable sections of the society related things, caste system related question, because sanitation workers are generally lower caste if you go to other areas of our country. Okay, metropolitan cities condemn lower caste Tantra Korea mostly. So we're trying, if Namaste scheme is implemented, is actually helping the SC population and untouchables, not the so-called untouchables. Now coming to our next point, smile. Smile, you have to smile. Okay, smile. Na? Support for marginalized. This is for transgender, okay? Transgender. See, don't be too anti-transgender also, okay? I know you will have your own political opinion as well. Nah? I mean, forceful gender affirming surgeries should not be there, okay? And forceful display of sexual elements. Sometimes not this transgender community should also limit themselves, particularly in the uh, over sensationalization of sexual parts. We should reduce that a little bit, okay? And some of you who are a little left leaning, when I say this, may be offended, but please try to take it with a pinch of salt. Even me, I've seen it with my own eyes. Okay, I've I've also walked in the Pride Parade in Delhi. Delhi University also we do Pride Parade, okay? So no doubt you are showing that I'm proud of being LGBTQIA community. And public kiss can create this and it becomes too something over sensationalized create that part, but we should focus more on awareness. It can also be verbal as well, it doesn't have to be demonstration oriented all the time. And so now kids, with that we have to be kids friendly, because if you want to be accepted, you have to ensure that the next generation is also more accepting of the idea behind it. And no doubt there should not be anything forceful here in this smile scheme. Through Ayushman Bharat, there is an element within Ayushman Bharat. Coverage is provided through this PMJAY, or even gender affirming surgeries, okay, which means as a guy you say, okay, I'm born a man but tomorrow I want to be a female, and because this is not my right gender, I'm a female in a man's body in every baby na. See, whether I believe or not, that's a different case, okay, but then whether I support those ideas or not is a different case. But the thing is, so long as society is not harmed, so long as nothing is forceful, so long as public decency is maintained, and a harmony of society is focused, that then we shouldn't, and cultural misappropriation should also not be done, okay, just for the cause. So, ekta delicate balance thakyo lage, extreme na jao lage, both side also, na. So, what gender affirming surgery does is, let's say a person is born as a man and he say, no, I'm a female, my characteristics feminine as a my bitor I believe that I'm a woman, then their gender affirming surgeries can be conducted, and their primary sexual organs and hormones would also be provided to ensure that their body becomes a female body, so those things are there, okay. Now, there are many ways to look at it through SMILE program. Kindly remember them. Transgender is still something that is not much spoken about much. There's less awareness and less acceptance in our society. This is the reality, whether you like it or not. Now, I may or may not be against it or whatever, but personal opinion should be aside. You, as an aspirant, should also not be too focused on your personal issues. Okay, you should at least, for your examination sake, be more open-minded. This is all I will request, okay. Apart from that, your personal life, it's up to you, okay. You have the liberty to do what you want. Now, what is our objective in this? We are trying to rehabilitate, which means we are trying to provide livelihood to marginalized section. They are transgender and beggars, okay. Even beggars are included here. So a comprehensive rehabilitation for welfare of transgender person and rehabilitation of person engaged in begging. So our idea is, if we implement this, then we'll ensure that there is social inclusion, okay. In Delhi University, inclusion, one, I forgot the name, but one popular transgender right activist came in our college and I was part of her seminar. And one concern she was giving is, they face so many social stigma. And at the same time, whenever they go searching for jobs, jobs are not provided to them just on the basis that they are a transgender community, so, and even when they get work, they are so much discriminated. Now open discrimination may not be there, but then through various gesture, through various rumors and murmurs, the work life becomes impossible. And so she was saying, we don't want to beg, okay. See, train station kante jaranle hizra khange dikhina, and they beg and all that. It is not a dignified life. Now, some of them do it happily, okay, some of them do it forcefully also. We have many views to this, but according to her, according to that activist, we don't want to be engaged in such activities. We don't want to be waiting in the red red line, begging people who are going about. No, we also want to have a dignified life, but the state has still a long way to go to recognize us and also provide us with such facilities. Na? To pichete transgender related reservation issue, this is still not there. Okay, I'm just saying if those things comes up, don't be surprised because their population is still less. So in democracy, population matters. Na? Now, skill development and shelter support. So the idea is to ensure social inclusion. When we are discussing these things, we're also discussing about around their social issues also, okay? And see, transgender also have to study, right? Obviously. So scholarships are also provided to them, okay? And our one of our targets is also to make places begging free, okay, through Smile program. Now, Shrestha, this is also important. This is for SC, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Scheme for residential education for students in high schools. As wait, schools for residential education for students in high schools in high school, sorry, in targeted areas for SC population. Now, we also have a residential school program for central employee. Navodalayana. Then we have for ST community. What is this? Navoda Vidyalaya, and this is Eklavya Model Residential School, right? This is for tribal. Then for SC is through Shrestha, okay? Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Residential schooling would be provided, and the ministry will ensure that their fees and all that is covered, okay? Now, the parental annual income should be less than 2.5 lakhs per annum. 2.5, very less, okay? And approximately they try to take in around 3,000 people at the 9 entry level and at the 11 entry level because their target is from 9 to 12, okay? It's mentioned here, 9 to 12. And so what type of education? Please remember it is residential. Money they will be staying in the school, okay? Hostels can they take you, not day schooling. This is the idea. I hope you are clear with this. Shasta, please relate them with Eklavya Model Residential School as well. Now, Pradhan Mantri Anusuchit Jati Abhyudaya Yojana. This is area-based development approach for development of SC-dominated villages. Okay, there are certain villages whereby scheduled caste forms the majority population. So, if that is the case, what are the criteria to be considered as an SC-dominated villages? Firstly, their population should be more than 40%, and they should have at least 500 population. Okay, 500 minimum, also 500 population. If that is achieved, then this particular village will receive 21 lakhs, okay, to develop basic amenities. So what are the basic amenities that would be set up? Basic amenities like water, health, education, etc. Those will be developed. Roads, etc. will also, if convergence with other schemes for such Adarsh Gram would be done. And there are various other elements even for livelihood projects as well, no? To ensure that they have greater livelihood. Please remember, Shesta is for high school education. Ajay is for SC-dominated villages. Coming to Swadesh Darshan, this scheme is relevant even for our Nagaland state. It is a central sector scheme under Ministry of Tourism, and our Ministry of Tourism, Shri Imnai Longji, has proposed, and the central government has selected Zuko Valley under this scheme. So now, when question regarding Zuko Valley comes, kindly try to interlink them with Swadesh Darshan 2.0 scheme, where it is implemented. And the government of Nagaland has proposed a fund of 250 crore. Now, the central government will not accept 250 crore 100%, right? It may come down to 150 crore or somewhere lesser, or depending on what the central government feels is the exact requirement. Please kindly keep a track of this. By chance, minimum will be if we get 100 crore and see whether 100 crore worth of project is taken up or not, okay? Objective is to develop sustainably, and responsible tourism is also to be promoted. And please remember, sustainability is the focus. Sustainable tourism, please remember. Let's move to Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana. I know I'm taking a lot of extra time, but this is, if we don't do this, then tomorrow we may not have the time to do it at all. No? So we'll go quickly, okay? Quickly now, just point. And this are now whatever I'll be teaching is all related to social issues. So kindly be more attentive. Drink some water, stand up, stretch your arms, and come back, okay? Pradhan Mantri Adi, please, when you're listening to my class, please don't sleep, okay? Don't sleep and, in your phone or in your iPad or laptop or whatever, please don't sleep and watch. Please sit in your study table, okay? It's a very bad habit. Now, Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana. It is a revamped version of tribal sub-scheme that existed earlier, okay? In this, the focus is on, see, this is not Ministry of Tribal Affairs, okay? The focus is on tribal society. How, please remember, everything is ST, okay? The idea is to develop ST majority villages. The criteria here is at least greater than 50% population should be ST. And kindly keep this in mind, we have around 36,428 ST dominated villages, and this is our target villages. And this is a convergence scheme. This is not a separate scheme on its own. Various schemes that existed regarding tribal welfare in any scheme, if there is a tribal component, we are trying to converge them either from the central level or whether at the state level. If the state also have their own such schemes, we are trying to bring in those components and implement it together so that there is smooth functioning, okay? Now, funding is 20.38 lakhs will be provided for selected villages. Not all villages will be covered, selected villages, and at least 2% of that fund should be given for administration. And please remember, basic amenities will be covered here, okay? Drinking water facility, drainage, solid waste management, road connectivity, etc., etc. Kindly keep this in mind. Now coming to, this is very important, PM Janman, Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan. This is focused at PVTGs, okay, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now, even within the tribal groups, there are more vulnerable sections, and these people are focused. There are 75 such PVTGs in our country. In among the Naga tribes, we don't have any one of them in Nagaland, but in Manipur, there's a Naga tribe called Maram. Okay, they're also included in this PVTG listing, and they get funding from central government through this PM Janman as well. Now, these PVTGs are spread across 18 states and Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, kindly keep this in mind. This was set up in the anniversary of Bhagwan Birsa Munda, okay? Birsa Munda tribal, a very important tribal figure. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to provide them with basic amenities. This is also working along with various other existing schemes, giving priority to such PVTGs. For example, housing Kurogule, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, even to Megrod, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, where PVTGs are living. Education, Thaila hostels will be made. Mobile health facilities medical facilities will be provided. Mobile, there will be a vehicle, 14 capacity, whatever capacity, will convert this into a mobile medical unit, and medicine will be provided free of cost. Okay, such initiatives would be taken to this Janman. Moving quickly, Eklave Model Residential School. You all have heard about this. Let us not pretend like we don't know. Okay, so don't expect explanation from me. Please remember, the idea is to provide quality education to ST student in remote area by providing them with residential schooling. Okay, residence state thagibo. See Navodaya la model here, see. But this is for central employee children, right? Now, coming to this is for tribal areas, and sports culture, etc., will also be promoted. The idea is to have at least one Eklave model residential school per block. Okay, per block, they per block, and they have significant tribal population. At least the minimum is also around 20,000 population in that block. Okay, tribal population, and and greater than 50%. So all the blocks in, not all, but many blocks in Nagaland is also eligible, but we're not able to attract the funding. Next is Beti Bachao, Beti Padao. Now, women-related issue is always in the news. Recently, we have seen cases of crime against women as well. Na? So this becomes important. Okay, kindly keep this in mind. Beti Bachao, Beti Padao. We have also heard about an umbrella scheme, Mission Shakti. Kindly keep this mission also in mind. Okay, Mission Shakti. There we have. So, Mission Shakti is there. Let us discuss when it reach Sambal and Samarthya provisions are there. Now in Beti Bachao, Beti Padao, please look at this. It is regarding the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Launched way back. The idea is to ensure that we address declining sex ratio, because we know reality, we know male preferences is there, okay, even today. You may not want to accept it, but then even within Naga society, not everyone, but then there's still section of our population who prefer male child. And there are also instances whereby we need at least one female child. That attitude is also still there. At least they have pasha there, na maki hangido. But then male child preferences are still there. Uh, don't think that we Naga society are so good, egalitarian, that no such social issues exist. Okay, Beti Bachao, Beti Padao. What we are trying to do is we are trying to bring about behavioral and social change in the way a girl child is perceived across the country. Okay, girl child should not be seen as a burden. It should also be seen as a blessing. Okay, um, now, how do we achieve this? We achieve this by improving their sex ratio at birth. We keep hearing about sex ratio, right? And we can do this by promoting institutional delivery. Now, women health is also taken care of, and they will not be a post delivery, they will not be killing of the baby. No? Recently, in Oking Hospital, we have seen one lady saying that she dropped the child from the building and the child died or whatever. No? But it is controversial, you know. And that is not relating to sex selection, but more to do with issues regarding social acceptance of women, giving children beyond certain recognized marriages or etc. etc. Na? So promotion of adoption methods should also be there, because when a child is when a life is lost, you cannot bring back. You do not give life, so you cannot take life. Okay, you have given birth to a baby, but it doesn't mean that you have given life to the baby. Na? The baby, you are just part of the process of creation of the child, not the owner of the child per se. You are a guardian of the child, not the owner of the child. Please note this distinction. Even today, you know, many Naga society, particularly the previous generation, parents, they still have the mentality that they are the owner of the child, okay, and not the guardian of the child. If you go to other Western society, na, guardian is not side, and parents also cannot be very controlling, and if they do something that is beyond the duty of a guardian, then legal actions are also taken. Okay, so but in our society, parents, sad to say, they still think of you like a child even when you become very old. No? Good thing is there, bad thing is also there. So independence, critical thinking, and street smartness, overprotective environment, probably those struggles you will face. At the same time, financial independence mentality will not be there. You may not end up making good investment in your life because you're not looking forward to being a body of your own, being autonomous. No doubt we should have linkages with communities, we should have linkages with your village people, your tribal people, your Naga society, your Indian society. That is there. This is part of your fundamental duty. This is part of your community duty. But at the same time, you should start functioning autonomously, okay? Particularly career oriented, financial autonomy, financial investment should be made. Because of this, you end up losing so many years, okay? Losing five, if you're 5 years behind your friends, now you can never catch up again. When I'm even talking about financial, all of you, for example, some of you, your friends, you enter the same service at the same time, but one friend will be way ahead of you. Why? Because they have that behavioral change, okay? Utu social construed environment right takigina ini kades tak no ina takalagazde. So kindly work on that on your own. Think about it. Don't be rebellious in the sense that you start hating people, but try to balance those things, okay? So institutional delivery issue is also dealt with in Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. Antenatal care will also be provided, and dropout rates of children in schools, secondary and higher secondary education is also seen. Because then, if a girl child is not getting proper education, how can they attain financial autonomy? If they don't get financial autonomy, how can they get independence? How can they get respect in society? Once you start earning, the way people look at you will also change, okay? The kind of autonomy you have. If you are a good person, you'll progress. If you're a bad person, you'll end up in the wrong direction, okay? We've seen many instances of both sides as well. Now, awareness about menstrual hygiene is also there. I keep saying this wherever I go, and this is one of soft corner for me, menstrual hygiene. Because menstrual hygiene is not taken properly in rural parts of our Nagaland as well, okay? We have seen women using rags for as a sanitary pads, and they will wash them and reuse them again, okay? Very unhygienic. And ito kanna cancer related issues, various infections related issues, high chances, okay? And these things will also even in your childbirth as well, complications may also come up, so fertility related issues, etc., etc. So a serious concern. I'm also trying to find a way to see how I can do away with it, now especially in far-flung rural areas. How can I work with NGOs or self-production of sanitary pads and handing out to such people? Now I'm seeing financially it's not possible now, okay, but hopefully one day God opens the way for me. This is one of my mission, hopefully, because I'm posted in rural areas. So this is one of the contributions. See, when you become a civil servant, there's two things you have to implement this in your answer writing as well, okay? You have your role, you have your responsibility. Now role means your perform role or duty, okay? Means you are supposed to do this. It is part of your job. Responsibility means something you are taking out extra on your own to do something for the people, even though that is not part of your service conditions, okay? And this should be done over and above your duty. Responsibility kurina duty na kurina noy. Duty kurubo, duty khotom hoile responsibility kurubo. So this is how you should go. You should go beyond your duty and help our people, because our people need good civil servant even today, or else we're lagging behind. Now, Mission Shakti. Mission Shakti is also another important scheme. This is the umbrella scheme for women empowerment and also safety and protection. Please remember this name. Integrated Women Empowerment Program, Mission Shakti. In Mission Shakti, we have two components, two sub-schemes. One is Sambal, which is for safety and security, as the name itself is evident if you know a little bit of Hindi. And next is Samarthya, which is empowerment. So in Sambal, we have various components for protection, for safety. One-stop center is there, whereby any woman with any distress situation can come to one-stop center and find their solution. Let's say kidnapping hole thakishe, domestic violence ase, or any sexual abuse, etc., etc. You can straight away come to one-stop center and find protection there, okay? And FIRs, etc., would be done for you, and you will be assisted. Second is women helpline. Women helpline. See, any woman here, you can also use this, okay, in the future. If you face any issue, you can call 181, okay? Kindly call 181. Know your own number. No? For children, 1098, okay? Kindly know this helpline number. If you see a woman a child in distress, and has a lost, then you can always call this number and ask for assistance. No? And even Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao also comes under this, and there is Nari Adalat. Okay, so women-related issues, speedy delivery of justice. Now, Samarthya, which is empowerment. In empowerment, we have, even in Kohima, in New Secretariat Road, we have this. Okay, if you're employed, you should try to get a hostel here, because once you get employed, residence would be a serious issue, okay, in in Kohima. So vacancy is also generally not available, but if there are any vacancy, a very good place. Okay. Shakin Niwas, this is working women hostel. It is just in that New Secretariat Road, okay, just it is in the road only, very visible. Working women hostel going to likhina thaki over there. And next is Shakti Sadan. Shakti Sadan is relief and rehabilitation. So we have one. Please remember this component, anything related to women, okay? Any component where it is applicable, kindly pick and choose. And next is Ujjawala. So Ujjawala is for prevention of trafficking. Swadargri is for women in difficult circumstances, any difficult circumstances, okay? And next we have Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana. Okay, this is for providing a woman with maternity related things. Now, coming to our next mission, Poshan. Now, this is also important. Social issues there, because in social issue, what is one major thing? National Food Security Act is also there, no doubt. But then nutritional outcomes is focused here, okay, for children, pregnant and lactating mothers, and adolescent girl, okay. Adolescent girl are those between 14 to 18 years. Kindly keep this in mind. Now, nutritional outcome for children should be 0 to 6 years. So, earlier we had ICDS, okay. ICDS also is now part of this Integrated Child Development Scheme. Na? Children laga nutrition sai, crèche facilities can be provide kore, and tahan ke early education be provide kore. Na? These are the things that are included within Poshan. Okay, Poshan, Poshan 2.0, Poshan, we have integrated all these things. Now, early childhood care and education is also another focus of the government. Government, though they are providing only elementary schooling free of cost, right? But now, even early childhood care and education, that means below 6 years, okay, and even early stimulation of children between 0 to 3 years. Early childhood care and education is generally 3 to 6 years of children, okay. So various Anganwadi infrastructure will be created for providing such facilities. Kindly remember this. And how do you get nutritional outcomes? When you are a child, okay, way back, if you are at least on the older side, then you would have realized going to Anganwadi center and getting hot cooked meal, okay. If you are very young, you may not remember, or you may not have these memories, okay. Or if you are so detached from rural lifestyle and you have been functioning all your life in urban spaces only, then you too will not be aware of this. But back then, hot cooked meal used to be provided, and people will stand in line, okay, and they will get 1 or 2 spoon, and they'll be very happy, na, top ramen and all these things, na. they will be provided, okay, in this hot cook meal. So it is said that hot cook meal should also be palatable. That means khawle para laga hot cook meal dibi ko aise to. So this is part of nutritional provisions, okay, and even take home ration news also be provided, okay. I know some of you will also have experienced this. Ration dena top ramen kan ki han paina go de lo jaina happily you'll go back home na such memories. Now to ensure nutritional security as well, you'll also be provided fortified rice na. Fortified rice, I hope you all know. Fortified rice are rice whereby iron, vitamins, etc. are added in the rice so as to ensure that by eating that rice also you get certain nutrients, okay, not just carbs. And millets will also be provided once a week, okay, in such hot cooked meals or midday meal, etc., etc. Okay. Mission Vatsalya. This is also another scheme where you can remember. This is regarding children as well, and uh, nothing much to remember. Just remember the name and remember that this is for protection and welfare of children in difficult circumstances, and there will be a helpline 1098 as I've mentioned, and there will also be provision for adoption, right? Children in distress, adoption is also a provision, and there are also children in conflict with law. Those children are also the juveniles, na? Itu Juvenile Justice Act. You must have heard of this. So this is also related to it, Vatsalya. So if such individuals are there, we have to reintegrate them. We have to redevelop them. So observation homestay daliwo them, special homestay daliwo, or any place of safety, and they would be provided with proper rehabilitation. So children in conflict with law is also covered under this. Now, in Nagaland, PM Surya Ghar, this is also important. Now, one thing, this may seem like an advertisement, but I was talking to one of the deputy director of New and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and he has also said, we have implemented Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana in Nagaland. But and on top of that, we not only the central funding, state is also giving an additional subsidy, okay, in our state. Kindly go through it. And now, if you are staying in rural area, this may not be very helpful. But if you are staying in an urban area, you have a home in urban spaces, then I will request you try to find some money and install and take the benefit of PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana because you're getting a high subsidy. And if you install, depending on your power consumption, power consumption, you install as per needed, and it will be grid connected. You can also have hybrid, okay, but you don't have to be too expensive. Just have a solar panel high on a higher capacity based on your needs, then that solar energy can also be used directly at your home, okay, can also be used to pull your motor, etc. And if there are excess, it will go directly to the grid, which is to the electrical supply system, no? Then it will be recorded through the meter system, and you will see how much you are producing. Now, if you are producing 300 units, okay, of electricity, this is the target. 300 unit free electricity per month you'll be given. Now your consumption is just 250 units. Then you'll be paid for the 50 unit extra that you get, okay? Or your consumption is very low, your capacity is higher, and you're getting 500 and you're using only 250. Then you're getting 250, so you will get money as well. Now forget about money. Environmentally also it is very good. Okay, through this program, through this rooftop system, we are trying to install at least 30 gigawatt of clean and renewable energy. In that way, you are contributing to greener economy. You're contributing to sustainable lifestyle. Okay, so if you have the money for it and if you live in urban spaces, kindly try to install this. Okay, when you have the money, or if your parents can budget out some finances, you should try to educate them. Now, PM Kusum. PM Kusum, this is for rural area. This is for farming area. What we are trying to do here is we are trying to uh, promote solar energy usage. We are also trying to promote our solar capacity and green energy contribution to our power sector. So PM Kusum is for agricultural sector. Okay, please keep this in mind. There are various components. Component A, it talks about installing about 10,000 megawatt. Okay, 10,000 megawatt of solar energy. So renewable solar energy plant. Okay, in agricultural land. So let's say this is your plot of land and you are planting, let's say, potato. Now, along with your farmland, solar panels will be provided, okay? And the electricity you generate will be connected to the grid and you will get an income. If you have a big farm, you earn 2-3 lakhs also just from electricity generation through this solar panel. So this is first target under PM Kusum. Second target, second component is we are trying to install around 35 lakhs of stand-alone. Stand-alone means taikla thakala power grid te connect na kurala de. Stand-alone solar power pumps. Okay, solar power pumps. So the power pumps that you have to for irrigation purpose in your farmland, you are going to replace them with the diesel pump to solar pump. Okay, and this is off grid. That means with that solar panel, you're going to use for extraction of water. So 35 lakhs such standalone solar pumps is the target. Now, the third component is grid connected. That means you have a solar. This is for farms whereby they are in far area and electricity can not jaga de. This is electricity has reached this area. So you have a pump here, solar is connected, and you use this for pumping your water. And when it is not required, excess will be sent to the grid and you will earn money as well. Okay, this is PM Kusum. Now, Swamitva scheme, this is for rural area. The full form, please remember the full form can be asked in your 2 marks question because this is relatively new scheme. Survey of villages, Abhadi, and mapping with improvised technology in village area. It is a central sector scheme. The implementing agency is Survey of India, and we are trying to make an accurate land record. In villages, lands are not recorded properly. No? That is why we have a lot of property dispute. Now, to reduce such property dispute, we need a proper land record. This person has his boundary will also be made properly using GPS. Okay, so and using drone, your property will be mapped properly. Now, this will also enhance rural planning, right? Various schemes that are to be because now property and public spaces, etc., community land, etc., would be mapped properly. So this is also another important one. Earlier, I was talking about Mission Karma Yogi. This is a national program for civil service capacity building. What we are trying to do is we're trying to transform our civil services through a competency-driven training module. In this, we have various components. I got Karma Yogi digital platform. So through this platform, you can get access to various various methodologies and resources, etc., to improve and enhance yourself. And continuous learning model, whereby you as a civil servant, you will always learn, you will always be a student, okay, throughout your journey, and you will also improve, and thereby you will also get skilling, reskilling, upskilling, skills that are required for you to be an efficient officer. And we'll also focus on behavioral changes. Yeah, rule-based to role-based HR management as well, no? So as to ensure that individuals are made use in a proper way based on their competency. And like I've said, merit is also promoted through this. So with this, we come to the end of our schemes and also various schemes that are related to social issue. I know there are so many schemes that are being taught and it is quite lengthy, but thank you for bearing with it and I hope you learn something out of it, okay? Anyways, any question? Okay, so many replies to that Trump-related thing, no? Marco Rubio is here. We have the foreign minister, no? US laga, Secretary of State, yeah. Okay, a good, interesting conversation. I hope international relations is also part of our syllabus. International relations is very interesting to discuss. No? Anyways, I hope you learned something. Thank you all for attending the class and see you again tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Good day.